E aí, meus amigos. What's up, my friends? How you doing? This is the American Brazilian, absent rather, the Brazilian, my wife. I wanted to come on and talk about a brief video, two brief videos that I saw today. One was with O'Shea, and the other video was on this little thing they call the Clubhouse. I get on Clubhouse. I just kind of want to see what's being said. I never really say anything, even when I'm invited in the room. But anyway, I'll get to that point. First of all, let me just give a shout out, as I always do, to O'Shea. I also want to give a shout out to the brothers in the black travel sector of YouTube. Brothers like that I heard of today, like Drees TV. Definitely people like Aaron Ferris. I've been following him for a while. Pablo Frescobar, TaylorMade Dreams. Of course, everybody knows him. Black Man Travels. And I believe Andrew 2606, I think that's Andrew's handle now, as well as Marwa and a host of many other brothers. And I'm sure I've forgotten a lot of people. I'm actually driving, so I'm trying to concentrate. And the police is in front of me. Nonetheless, oh, y'all like my shirt? America, Brazilian. Anyway, the brother was on O'Shea's show today. And he was talking about, he was responding to a few questions that O'Shea was asking. And he was talking about, I think the title, and O'Shea, if I get this title wrong, forgive me, I'm probably going to butcher it. But it was something along the lines of why black men travel outside of America to find relationships. Well, anyway, O'Shea, as great interviewer, he was asking a few questions, and there's this one question that he asked, and he was saying a lot of people rather, here in America, they typically try to make the case that most black men go to these foreign countries because either they don't have any game, or the women are poor, they have no options, they'll take anything, and they're just trying to, the famous one, or the most popular talking point is they're trying to come to America to get a green card. And I like what he said. He made a lot of good points in reference to why that's not true. But one thing he said that, I know this from firsthand experience, and many of you brothers who, like us, have traveled, you would, I'm sure, attest to this. And that's this. America is one of these countries where it's kind of like what the OJs say, for a small piece of paper, it carries a lot of weight. For the love of money, it's kind of like money kind of rules everything here. So people work hard, they grind to try to get stuff, and a lot, not all, but a lot of people, they're even when they get these things, they're not the happiest people in the world. Whereas, and this was his point, a lot of people in countries that America and other nations consider third world countries are a lot happier with less than we are with more. Now, I'm not saying that they don't need money and they don't work. Of course, no sane person would believe that. But I think they put a premium on more of the intangible things, like family, like memories, like love, like kindness, like respect. And he also mentioned about Southern hospitality and how it was ubiquitous in a lot of those countries. In a lot of places, people were friendly, people were helpful, people were accommodating as much as they possibly could. And it just validated a point that I had made so many times, that many people in those countries, they have no desire to come to America. They have no desire to leave their homeland, which in many cases are very beautiful surroundings. And I know a lot of people, or some people, might hear this and say, well, there's crime and there's violence. First of all, I'm not sure if I've ever heard of any school shootings in Brazil or Colombia or the DR. I'm not saying it doesn't exist or never happened. It's just not prevalent. Now, anywhere you go where there is poverty, you're going to find poverty's sidekick, and that's crime. I mean, poverty and crime, they go hand in hand. And they're ubiquitous. That's ubiquitous anywhere in the world you go. Anywhere you find poverty, you're going to find crime. However, I think that however their laws work, they have it under control to the point where it's not heralded abroad. Like, for instance, you don't say, well, man, I remember there was it's like 8 school shootings in Brazil last week or last year. You don't hear a whole lot of that. In Colombia, DR, Costa Rica, and a whole host of other Latin countries. But anyway, that was one point, and I'm going to come back to that, but let me talk about what I heard on the Clubhouse today. There was a room, and the title of that room was either Do Black Women Cheat or Black Women Don't Cheat. It's one of those titles that was given to the room. And one sister got on there and she basically was telling her story and how she cheated, and basically it wasn't so much physical as it was emotional, because her and her man at the time, they were dealing with some things, and I guess she found solace and comfort with someone else. And so one of the brothers, he said, well, okay, but isn't that cheating? To which another sister asked if she could chime in, and he allowed her to do so. And she said, well, in my sister's defense, it wasn't cheating, it was healing. I'm like, what? I said, huh? It's like, yeah, it was healing, because whenever a black woman cheats on a black man, they're going through a healing. That's their process. That's what it's called. So it's not called cheating. Forget being bent over by somebody else. It's called healing. So you were getting healed. I couldn't believe it. Now, I've been to a few places around the world, well, in the world, and seen a few things, done a few things. Not a whole lot surprised me, but the depravity of that level of thinking was just kind of like, I couldn't believe it. So you mean to tell me, if you feel like you're going through something with your significant other, be it you're in a long-term relationship or you're somebody's wife, if you decide to cheat on them as a black woman, it's okay, because after all, you're going through a healing. Now, what she went on to say was this. She went on to say that it's needed because they, as sisters, they have to do this because that is one of the coping mechanisms that they need when dealing with the black man. So we're so bad that you have to cheat in order to stay with us. That's the only way you can stay with us. Now, I know that no sane person would. I couldn't believe I heard that. But on the same token, I also know that a lot of people don't subscribe to that theory. But what's scary is that there were a lot of people that were quote unquote amen in her, giving her support. You go ahead, yeah. I'm like, really? And then of course you had your typical simps caping. Well, I understand, yeah, because some brothers, I'm like, bro, do you have any testicular fortitude? Well, that's speaking euphemistically. Do you have any nuts? Like, really? You would sit and amen something like that? Like, what type of dude are you? But anyway, let me go back to my first point with O'Shea's show today. I understand why black men are leaving America in search for better dating options and marrying options to wipe other people up. I understand. I do. I get it. Because if you are in a situation where people are constantly, you're being berated and dealing with such warped thinking. Now, again, I know it's not everybody, but my goodness, at some point you have to do something different. I don't know if this validates or if this kind of coincides with my point, but I thought about something funny. I don't know if any of you guys ever drove a Rolls Royce before, or Bentley, or have ever had the pleasure of going into a Rolls Royce or Bentley or Ferrari dealership, one of those high-end type dealerships, even Lexus or Mercedes. Well, one thing that you notice just looking at the lot, it's almost as if nobody's there. You don't see a whole lot of people walking on the lot. If you go inside, you don't hear a whole lot of noise. I mean, you hear the audible inner workings, people answering the phone, people trying to negotiate deals and stuff like that. But it's always in a uber professional type of setting. Scenery, everything is like top shelf. And another thing that you don't see is the little blow up guy outside in all of these neon chalk writings, half off, 25%, no payment for 6 months, and the little thing out there doing like this at the Rolls Royce dealership. You don't see that. But when you go to some of the American dealerships, you see that. You hear live DJs, and everybody's all loud, and everything's boisterous. You don't really know who's who. Everybody's all dressed down and so common and so familiar with everybody. Sometimes they won't even greet you on a first name basis. You tell them, hey, my name is Brian such and such. They'll just call you, hey, can I call you? I'm gonna just call you Brian. Or they'll just call you that. They won't even ask your permission to do so. And I would compare the ambiance to the dealerships there with the ambiance to the dealerships and how the women think. Loud, boisterous, everything's an issue. You can't do enough, you're not good enough, you're a reject. Yeah, I'm rejecting you. And if I go somewhere else, now all of a sudden I don't have any gain. Now, let me well, and of course, when you're at the Rolls Royce dealerships, everything is uber professional, it's quiet, the ambiance is good. It's like femininity, right? You go into it and it's captivating. It's like the more you're around it, the more you want to be around it. Whereas the other stuff is like, I can have fun over there, but I ain't trying to take none of that home. I want to take some of that home because that's a premium product right there. Again, not all American-made cars are bad. Had a lot of them. Not all foreign cars are good. Sometimes when they break, they're very expensive. But by and large, the dependability of them, the engine is very quiet. They ride good. They're reliable. And it's just a different animal. But anyway, after hearing that show and listening to what I listened to today on the little Clubhouse thing, I said to myself, I second the motion for brothers who want to go out and take the foreign route. Like, you don't need my permission. You don't even know me. But I will say this. If it is a curiosity, explore that curiosity because you just might like it. In any event, I'm just kind of rambling a little bit, man. I'm just riding, trying to make it to the crib. But I felt like I wanted to share that. And I don't know. It's an interesting world we live in, right? Specifically in regards to dating and relationships. But, hey, it is what it is, right? In any event, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys enjoy your day. And we will talk on the next video. This is your man, the American Brazilian, hence the shirt, America, Brazil. And I'm out. É verdade.